The Secret Gardens. Written by Carlos Pacheco, www.diaryofthoughts.com. The title of this chapter speaks for itself. Every one of us has a secret garden that even ourselves aren't able to completely know. Each person is a different world, a different universe, which identifies us as a unique person. Deep inside ourselves, there is this secret area of our spirits that is locked on its access, and maybe it defines our matrix, translates our souls. The open door to access this area of our souls is nothing but being able to know ourselves. By doing that, we'll find our real identity, our values and principles, what makes us accept or reject certain situations and contexts in life. Finally, what matches that spiritual print that is engraved in our spirits. Depending on each one of us, this introspection is essential to reach a spiritual level that will allow us to find inner harmony and tranquility, and due to that consciousness, we will be able to share it with other people around, mostly with the ones that we love. Those secret gardens reveal our real character, what we are. I wrote a poem called Who I Am. I could call it What I Am, as I could consider me as a what that is connected to this material world of ours, still linked with the who, the inner me, the spiritual side of my existence as a human being. In this dimension, we are all submitted to the who and what, and this last one is animated by numerous whats of energy that makes us survive using our instincts. Inner conflicts are always present in our spirits and expressing themselves through our wishes, ambitions, desires, even frustrations. We live the contradiction between what it is and what we wished that it would be, as if life had an obligation to bring us everything that we aspire on a golden plate, and also by the fact that weren't asked if we wanted to be here in the first place. If it were so simple as that, we wouldn't be here living in this dimension, as this one implies the necessary individual development to achieve goals, the ones that will match our existence as human beings, each one of us in our personal and different way. That's the reason why we are so similar and different at the same time. Being different in our existence doesn't mean that we are better or worse than anybody else. It just means that our presence, what we are, is necessary to consolidate that invisible balance that makes us interdependent in some way. If we think carefully, we'll reach the conclusion that, by comparing those existing different characters, we're able to distinguish and identify good and bad, right and wrong, ugly and beautiful, and so on. We always learn with each other about our virtues and our faults. It's precisely this collision of characters that makes us improve our lives in a positive or negative direction, choosing our road and our final destination. It's like going into the streets and picking the good or bad places, as everything is there, present to our eyes and our personal judgment about it, or going to the internet, where we can also find positive or negative messages, also depending on its content. After all, our individual successes or failures depend on our choices, as we are the masters of our determination, our destinies, our lives. Some people living in underdeveloped countries, submitted to starvation and misery, decide to emigrate and find their future elsewhere. Others assume a personal resignation about the facts and events and stay there for life. Finally, some of them will perish by their choice. It's clear that these situations are conditioned to several factors, as education, formation, and economical contexts, along with the personal awareness of each person that the place they are living in isn't the only one and the whole world is there waiting for us. We can say that this depends on their secret garden, the inner force and energy that animates their soul, bringing to some of them the intelligence that will allow them to evolve, no matter what they'll eventually have to go through. There are no patterns to apply to those secret gardens, as each one is unique, and this establishes the difference between us all as human beings. It would be boring if we were all alike. There would be no reason to imagine, to create our world, and this one is very precious. I had a happy life with my late wife. We lived together during almost half a century and endured numerous difficulties and obstacles along the way. We became one single person, as we had the feeling, the perception about our momentarily frame of mind, but both of us were aware of the existence of those separate secret gardens that we possessed. The acceptance of this personal forbidden zone makes part of the word respect, and it is the absence of this last one that causes all misunderstandings regarding relationship. Some people have the idea that secret gardens are their exclusive right and forget about the self-aspirations, ambitions, and desires even dreams of those they love. Life could be so simple if we only could start by identifying our secret garden and accept the others that exist around us. But this also can mean that there are secret gardens where we can't find any beauty at all. Only bad weeds that are constantly ruining the beautiful flowers that should exist and persist. In reality, those secret gardens can originate reactions as they are hidden and unreachable in its total extension. Even to ourselves, the reason why sometimes we react in an inappropriate way without meaning to. We find ourselves related by instincts, but it is for sure that our secret gardens are independent and autonomous. They cause unexpected reactions to ourselves and other people around as they interfere with behaviors, attitudes, and words, but these also serve a purpose because everything is linked in a certain way. By capturing and analyzing those behaviors, attitudes, and words, we stay hurt or happy. We learn with them if they are constructive or get far away if interfering with our hearts, our feelings. One of the biggest difficulties in life is to communicate with other people, is due to those different secret gardens, which create in us an instinctive mistrust about the other person's real character. Our secret garden is related to loneliness and introspection. We will never be able to expose what's living inside that garden of ours. Our living dreams and fantasies, our illusions, our beliefs and convictions, our faith. When we're in that garden, we meet silence, achieve peace. Finally, we meet ourselves. It's everybody's need to meet with our other me, the real me, that some people accept and even others refuse to admit. Our secret gardens oblige us all to see what we believe we aren't, what we don't apparently feel, briefly, everything that translates our real me. There are invisible frontiers that are there to protect our inner intimacy, those feelings and sensations that we can't explain to another person. There are things in life that we'll never be able to explain to another person. Apart the fact that we find similar tastes, opinions, even feelings, but these last ones never match exactly ours. There is always a different perspective, a different feeling that reigns in each person's soul. The problem about communication between people is nothing but the result of the distance created by our secret gardens, though we'll never be able to know exactly who the other person is. People are living under a platform of agreement concerning their individuality, which is very positive as long as it doesn't create an absolute obstacle in their relationship. Society created lots of words to communicate. One of them is the word strong. To be strong is a word that implies lots of meanings, but the most usual attribute we give to it is to connect it with another word which is strength, but most of the times ignoring the fact that the strongest are the ones who use their intelligence and their hearts. That intelligence is brought by our secret garden, where we can find the energy and logic that will allow us to use that spiritual potential and direct it towards the ones that need some small help on their physical strength. The strongest people will always be those who use their intelligence, their feelings. Once again, I refer the word acceptance. And I recall that this term is fundamental to establish the communication between two people. Never forget that we can't totally understand the other person's secret garden, the one that translates his or hers real character, but never submit, never open that other person's gate and get in closing the door. We'll stay caught in a garden that's not ours, and we'll never get back to our own again. The presence of a garden within a garden is like a cancer mining the first one and causing sufferance, misery, and pain to the other one. Never try to get in someone's secret garden. One way or another, when we love someone else, we always integrate ourselves into their lives, their secret gardens. Sometimes we suffer a lot due to that fact, while others bring us the reassurance that those feelings are reciprocal when they realize that they have to change their lives. Some will, others don't. The secret gardens are nothing but the voice of our consciousness that is constantly whispering in our ear, telling us what we have to do, even if we don't want to do it in our conscious dimension. In reality, we're always living in a kind of double vision, dealing with the images that are present to our eyes and force us to react, and at the same time listening to that inner voice that represents our real me. Double personalities are related to our secret gardens, the reason why we find lots of people dealing with themselves and changing their characters every 5 minutes. Living in duality is one of the worst things that can happen in our lives, and we can be sure that it will profoundly affect our lives in a very negative way. In those situations, we'll never be able to find inner harmony and tranquility. Finally, we stay caught within ourselves, looking for an open door but unable to find it, not being able to decide about who we are. I knew some people that are dealing with this inner contradiction and expressing it every hour, becoming strangers or friends, even enemies. Some experienced very tough and hard events in their lives, but finally, they forgot to reach their secret garden and look for spiritual help. At that moment, it depends on our secret gardens, if they are beautiful or ugly, to find positive or negative solutions. At the origin of the existing conflict between spirit and flesh, there is the presence of our secret garden that establishes that frontier between the different dimensions we are constantly living, the frontier between instincts and spirit, finally feelings. Our secret garden can become the cult of our ego if we live it in an egocentric way. It also can lead us to wrong notions about personal freedom and rights, as we expect people will venerate and worship our secret garden without having the concept that this one might be ugly. Finally, our secret garden will lead us to take decisions that will match our real character, our real me. Some of us hate the self, hate their secret garden, and stay caught in a different dimension that doesn't match their spiritual matrix, finally fighting against themselves, who they are. Drugs and alcohol establish a bridge between the apparent and the real, the secret gardens, as they liberate our souls in a perspective that we're not ready to accept or understand. They are nothing but a refuge to escape from our present dimension and reach a different one that will bring us far away. This refuge also reveals the inner necessity to touch the secret gardens that we know are there, but only we can't physically reach them. We can't open that invisible door that is sealed in a certain way. I never needed any drugs or alcohol to reach another dimension. I prefer to look at someone that I truly love and become automatically drunk with her presence and have the most beautiful hangover of my life. That's what I call a real drug. I experienced an extended period of my life when I drank a lot, even too much, but my problem is that alcohol doesn't affect my brain, not enough. It takes a lot to bring me to the other side. Different states of mind are related to our secret gardens. They can translate typical behaviors or a state of complete madness. In every one of us, there is a small portion of craziness that can be creative or destructive, depending on the way to direct it, and that finally defines the difference between the beautiful and the ugly that is living deep inside of us. My secret garden brings me a certain degree of madness which I call craziness with a heart, the one that can bring us tears of joy and happiness instead of tears of pain in our hearts, and I feel splendid about it. I'm glad that the Creator gave me the possibility to share a part of my secret garden with the ones I love, even if they won't completely understand it in its expressions. My happiness stays in the fact that I'll leave my message about who I am and what I feel, a way to share it with the world. Sometimes I even think to give open access to my thoughts by posting and publishing them completely free on the internet. Maybe that moment comes as time does everything, and it's certain that there is also a purpose to what I'm doing. We create our secret gardens while children, dreaming and imagining things and occurrences that we are afraid to explain to our parents, probably because some will never understand it, and we maintain our garden while adults until the moment we have to leave this dimension. Those secret gardens were born with us, and with us will stay as they make part of our spiritual matrix, our inner me, and that's what makes us so unique and special in our way to interpret, to feel things, facts and events, words, gestures and attitudes. The way we interpret and understand the movement of life in her eternal motion. All those secret gardens are very far away from our illusions, contradictions, faults, failures and mistakes practiced as human beings, because they are pure, belonging to an inner sphere where no external elements can be found, finally representing the aim of our spiritual origin, our existence. There is no good or bad, right or wrong. There is just you. That's why they are so secret. During our existence as human beings, those secret gardens of ours are nothing but receptacles of our personal experience, the result of our conclusions and decisions, and all of them accumulate in our souls. According to our behavior as human beings, those secret gardens will get richer or poorer in its spiritual content and will become our personal print, the individual matrix that we will bring with us when we join a higher dimension. It's like a sacred arch that we are looking for to obtain answers, but we just can't find it because all the explanations about the mystery of life are there, engraved somewhere in our souls and can't be revealed. Life is divine and divine we are, as all of us as make part of her. Our secret gardens are the sacred and divine parts of our souls. Sometimes, friendship and pure feelings leads us to invade the secret gardens of the ones we love. This without noticing it. During my life, I always had that tendency to try to change the lives of the ones I loved, and sometimes it leads to a misunderstanding that created a distance between us, putting at risk the existing friendship. I always believed that it isn't what it is but only what we want it to be, our inner wish not to resign to what was imposed on our lives and finally change our destinies. I still do believe on that conviction of mine as the Creator gave us the option to decide which road to take. The fact that we endure hard experiences in our lives leads us to explain to the ones we love about the possible solutions to surmount the obstacles that we found ourselves. It also happens to parents and their children and also between friends. If they are truthful, caring, and worrying, still it's for sure that this is tough to put into practice. I wasn't able to change my daughter's life, and you can be sure that I tried everything. After all, life is an eternal cycle that is continually and eternally repeating. The reason why my father wasn't able to change my private road either. The Secret Gardens. Written by Carlos Pacheco. www.diaryofthoughts.com